To add to the Irishman's special feel, Scorsese recruited some of his old regulars from his past. He said, "We gathered whatever troops were left, and it was very comfortable. Butchie the Hat is still around, thankfully. Frank Aquilino, he's in it, Joe Bono. So there was an incredible sense of old family ties coming together. Just the atmosphere was that way, particularly in the bigger scenes where people would just come on set. I wouldn't know what they were doing or who they were. Are they in the film? Put a wide tie on them. It's 1977. Cannavale said, "I did a restaurant scene, and all the guys I was eating steak with were from Marty's neighborhood. They'd be sitting there telling crazy stories about why Bob was called Bobby Milk, or what Johnny D's cousin was up to. All these names come up, and it's a movie unto itself." As well as going back to the old days of Scorsese and De Niro's prime, the film is also taking strides into the future with the de-aging CGI. Scorsese wasn't thinking too much about that though, saying, "I really had no choice. The risk was there, and that was it. We just tried to make the film. After sitting on the couch for 10 years, arguing about it, pushing the script this way and that way, people coming and going, Al checking in every now and again, Joe saying I don't want to do it, we finally had a way." De Niro then spoke about acting as a young man and how they had coaches on set to help them. "This guy, Gary, he showed me how I should go down the stairs. I kind of hopped, let myself fall down the stairs as opposed to carefully stepping down them. What's the word? Sprightlier." Pacino then spoke about it also, and he said, "Hoffa was a very energetic fella. Somehow I managed to do it with real alacrity. And after the take, I of course had to be rushed off to hospital." Just joking. But during the take, it was powerful. I did think, how did I manage to do that? He was talking about a scene where he had to run up the stairs really quickly. It's really exciting stuff, and as I mentioned in my video called Al Pacino and the Irishman, Can He Pull It Off? I talked about how there really needs to be a spring in the step of Pacino, because he's playing a larger-than-life character and it would be one of the biggest challenges of his career. This isn't a case of a veteran actor coming in for a quick high and buy, which could be said for the likes of maybe Harvey Keitel, who has a very small role. Pacino, on the other hand, is going to have to give us something really that he's never done before, at least not in his roles in the last 20 years or so. The article also mentioned something very interesting. Pacino is going to be de-aged for every single scene that he's in. That's pretty shocking. Of course, some will argue that if he's going to be de-aged throughout the entire film, then they should have just gotten a different actor, but that would mean obviously losing Pacino's talent and pedigree. Now that I think about it though, this actually makes a lot of the leaked photos make sense. There were photos that I believed showed Hoffa's last car ride, Frank Sheeran's appreciation night, and other things, but I was always confused because despite these scenes taking place towards the latter stages of the movie, Pacino still had those little de-aging trackers around his chest. But it makes sense now, knowing that he will be de-aged for every scene. But I'm still not sure if that's true. Empire didn't quote anyone on it, and some shots of Pacino in makeup do look pretty decent. Does it mean Pacino is de-aged in this scene in the film's trailer? Because I thought that was just makeup. If it is CGI, however subtle, it's absolutely brilliant and unnoticeable. The de-aging shots were captured by a special bulky camera rig nicknamed the Three-Headed Monster, and 4 months after the movie finished filming, with 200 shots left to work on, the film was starting to take shape. Producer Jane Rosenthal said, "I keep saying it's magical, because it is. There's a moment early in the movie where they're on the side of the road, these older guys. They turn around and say, 'Look where we are.' And you are instantly seeing them in their younger years together. The first time I saw it, I was an emotional wreck. It had that feeling of, my God, we finally got to this point." The piece finishes with reminding us that no matter how expensive, long, and expansive this movie is, at its heart it's a personal story, and for De Niro and Scorsese, all the issues and drama have been necessary to tell this touching tale of an old man reflecting on his life. Scorsese said, "The brashness of the cowboys, a Tommy DeVito and Goodfellas, running around shooting guns in the air, we've seen it. We've done it ourselves, meaning in the world and in cinema. We were the wild ones, in a way. But now we've reached a point where we can look back Not even look back, but look inside, because we have no more time. And finally, De Niro, the man who opened the first pages of a novel in 2006, which started the entire journey, concluded, "Marty and I thought this is what we should be doing." And they did. So all in all, it was a pretty wonderful interview, the first of its kind with all these four men. As great as it was, selfishly I wanted more. If anything, there's more of Empire explaining the history of the film than there is of actual quotes from the actors. There wasn't much from Joe Pesci, for example, and it's a shame they couldn't get Harvey Keitel, but it's still a great interview. And that's not all, because there's additional interviews with De Niro and Pacino. Pacino's one being particularly great, as he talks about why he hadn't worked with Scorsese previously, tells us his favourite Scorsese film, and how he prepared for The Irishman. Stay tuned for some videos on those interviews. Consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.